But it's important for me to frame it up like, hey, look, we have lots and lots and lots of money fall off the table because we're not maximizing it on the agent side.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
The Holy Grail matrix. But it's important for me to frame it up like, hey, look, we have lots and lots and lots of money fall off the table because we're not maximizing it on the agent side. Here's the problem. I can't automate the piece of that for you. Why? Their connections with you. So ultimately, you're the one that has to bridge that gap by communicating with them. I can automate a lot of it, which I do, and I'll show you some of that here and why we do that. That's why I'm very big on the emails. We send out video emails to everyone. We have one probably going out today to 80,000 people. But I need the piece of the actual communication from you all that show that you care, because that's the most important piece. So the first most important piece of that, it must be personal. What does that mean? You've got to make sure that they understand that you care. That understands knowing not just their name, their kids' names. If they're worth that much money to me, I want to know their dogs' names. I want to know everything about it so I can have the communication with them that's on a very personal level. This is the most important thing. There's two types. I'm going to skip, and I've taught this before. I'm going to skip ahead and come back to it. What's the other thing that's important? They must have professional relevance. Have to have personal relevance, meaning that, hey, this person cares about me. But here's the thing. If I'm the nicest, best agent who really loves them, but I'm an idiot on the real estate ball field, are they going to send me referrals? No, because they don't want you to embarrass them to their friend and drop the ball. That's why we did this thing called a certified real estate expert, which allows them to articulate why you're really good at what you do, so we maximize and knock this one off the water already. That's why you have the federal trademark on that. So we're able to have that where I already knocked the professional piece out for you. I just need you all to articulate that through origin stories and talking about that in the presentations. Right? That makes sense to you guys? So the second piece here is professional. You have to have both. This came from a book. I can't remember what book it was. But people have to have both of those, send a referral to somebody. Know that you care, like them. They have to like you. Number two, they have to know you're very good at what you do. Does that make sense? And so it's important for you to have both in that piece. So we're balancing both pieces of that. Second piece of this, very important. It must be specific. This is following back up with them. What that means? Yeah, it can't be generic. You guys get the emails from the lenders? You get the same the same email from 5 different lenders? Right? It's very what? Generic. It's not anything that's really personal to them. And so what do you think? This lady's just sending me some mass email, doesn't mean anything. It's got to be very specific to them, which is why you want to understand their names, their dogs' names, their kids' names, if they have back pain or not. How's that back surgery? How's your back after your surgery? Are you walking good, feeling good, back to normal? Are you able to play golf again, which I know he likes golf? What are you thinking? They feel obligated. Through a law of reciprocity, this girl calls me, knows very specific things about me and shows they care. All of a sudden, now I feel like I need to probably do something for them. And then he adds in the piece, hey, look, by the way, if you ever come across anybody who needs to buy or sell real estate, I'm your real estate resource for life. Please just make sure that you send them my way. Very, very, very important. Now, what would your connection be like what would the conversation be like if you called a past client and did that?
I think they'd be extremely happy.
It'd be pretty cool, right? A lot easier than calling somebody on a web lead who doesn't answer 37 calls, right? Or who yells at you for calling them. And so what I try to get at is that this is so much easier and better, but you have to have this thing that's very important, which is the data. Right? I must have the intel. That's what the CRM is built for, and that's at least what notes are for. But you want to make sure you take time at least at the very end to do a brain dump so you can dump anything and everything you know about them into your CRM. So I need to have what? I need to have intel so I can call them a few months from now or a few weeks from now and say, care. And this is how you make it rain money on your business if you do it right. Because we're in a person-to-person business. They want to work with people that care about them. I want to work with people that care about me. And I want to help fight people that care about me. Very, very, very important to understand that piece of it. And so I want you to look at this. Is one way we do it. I want you to look at, I want to go deep, not wide here. What does that mean? Deep, not wide. Yes, I've got to make sure I'm understanding the way that I can go deep with my clients, my past clients in this scenario, also my current clients, and have them understand that I care about them. I know very, very specific information about them that they care about, and I have intel that I can obviously log and utilize. Now, I can't go off of memory because I've got 100 past clients. There's no way for me to know everything about them off the top of my head. If I do, I'm wasting space in my mind. I want to know, right? How can I look at my notes really quick, reconnect? Oh, yeah, that's what I remember about them. And then I can go through and have that simple call. And now I got something to talk about more so than just what? Are you looking to buy or sell? They don't want to be that person just calls them asking for some stuff. It's a judo way to do this where I can take that, I can go in, care about them, make the conversation better, more enjoyable for myself, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, I'm your real estate resource for life. If you ever run across anybody looking to buy or sell, need you to do one thing, make sure you send them to me. Is that cool? Now here's the thing. You've got to make sure you do this over and over and over again. If I ask for it one time, they're not going to be programmed a way to do that. Just like you all, if I teach something one time, most people get 10% of it, right? It's just how humans are. So it's important for us to understand that piece of that. Professional piece. I've got to have things for them that are valuable. And you must be also valuable. We do that through our positioning and our presentations, right? We created that value proposition that we have, the unfair advantage home buying system, that labels everything what? What's in that presentation? The expert what? Everything. Expert advantage, expert advantage. There's a reason that the word expert's in that presentation chart so many times. I'm literally pre-framing them on me being the expert so they can send me lifetime referrals and repeat business in the back end. Why is that? Because I knew that I needed professional relevance for them to be able to understand and send me people they like and trust. You all with me on this? Very, very important. So I must have, and this is in the lifetime value after the close, right? So this is really important that I really set myself apart here through my professional relevance, and I also have to send them things that are professional relevance as well. What's probably the number one most valuable thing you can send them? Property value, right? Would you agree? That's what I want to know if I have a house. I want to know what? What's it worth? How much is it going up? So here's the thing. That's why this is the single most important thing you can do. Last week, 3 or 4 people I checked didn't even have it set up. I can't just sell it as a dealer. I have to sell it as value. It's got to be valuable. So I want to pre-frame them. I'll talk about this here. That they got to understand the sizzle of that. Second piece of this. It's got to be long-term. That's why the home value stuff is so important. Why does it got to be long-term? Lifetime value is a marathon. It's a long-term game. I want to understand how much this person spent with me, how much they're able to refer to me, and I want them to really be able to connect the gap between year 1 and year 7. Massive, massive, massive thing. We've seen a huge change when I really started enforcing the e-alerts, and you guys are getting referrals back, and that's really what just baffles me sometimes. Is like, look, you guys got to understand that you send them that, and them just getting it, that's half the battle for you. But if they globally opt out, what's that tell me? They're done getting stuff from you, and they don't understand the value of lifetime value, and that you don't understand the value because you haven't articulated that to them of why it's so important for you to be able to market to them. Does that make sense? All this starts with the first time you meet them. I'm pre-framing them what's going to happen later on, then I redo that at the closing so they know what to expect. You with me on this? Very, very, very valuable in that piece. Third part, must be able to articulate and show that you're the expert. This anything you communicate with them, right? This comes in what? Valuable articles, things you can send them, one-to-one things you send them, not some mass email, but how much time have you spent in the last, let's say, 2 weeks sending valuable stuff to your past clients? A lot of times that's 0. What I'm doing there is just trying to get an impression in their head. One impression, so that once I can be that reticular activator, once they think of real estate, automatically I'm on the top of their mind for that. Does that make sense? One of my mentors used to call it the toll booth. You've got to become the toll booth for anything in their mind real estate related. You get to an interstate, has a toll booth, what do you have to do? Pass through the toll booth, pay them when you go through it. You want to be the toll booth for them, anything real estate. And you do that by having impressions on their mind. Super, super, super important. And so you got to make sure you have expert stuff, obviously, on your Facebook, things like that. If you're connected with them on Facebook, which I highly agree to do, have that in there so you can have that piece of that. It's a tool for you to match up with them and be able to communicate with that in that way. That makes sense? Other piece of that is stuff that's educational. Meaning, like what? Property values also. Here's what's happening in the market right now. Hey, look, the interest rate's gone up, the market's not crashing. Right? Whatever it is, you want to be able to have things you can send to them one-to-one. What's the craziest part is when I look into the system that we use for our buyers, most people can't even do what? You can't even pull up the past clients. Right? You don't have the client tag set up correctly, or it's not set as closed. Probably 50% of deals that I close out on the buy side still have listed as pending. Like, it's just unbelievable. Right? So you got to say, look, I want to have an $18 million database. That's your true business. That's where it's here. And I'm here to help power that in terms of that. I'm sending them 2 emails a month. Usually a home value update or something else in that scenario. This month we sent out a text email, which had text, and here's what the market's doing, here's what's going on. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to do a home search, click this. Or if you want a home value, click this. In addition, we sent them a video I filmed the first week of the month at the radio station that tells them, here's what the market's doing. So I can automate these 2 for you, and so that way most of them are really taken care of in that piece. What I can't automate is this part up here. You all with me on this? And we're searching for one thing. A 1-to-1 ratio. That's my goal for every single person I close a deal with. If I closed 40 deals last year, I want 40 referrals from my past clients. Very, very important. That's also why our business model is incentivized for you guys to be able to get from past clients. Right? I want that incentive there. Third piece here, which is important. This is where we start missing at. This is pretty much simple. This is where we're missing everybody at right now. I figured this out last week while I was gone. We're missing on the pre-frame. There must be a pre-frame. What do you think that means? They're not moving every 7 years. They're going to need a toilet fixed or an electrician every year. Part of home ownership. They need some painting done, so I've got to start coaching them the very first time I meet them. Hey, look, I got you. Anything and everything you need, you come direct to me. Don't go online. Don't get scammed by somebody. I got the best vendors. They'll get you discounts. I got whatever you need because I need to coach them that they got to come to me for everything. Does that make sense? What do? We get lazier and we skip this part, this most important part. Because I have to program their mind how to operate and how they need to communicate with me going forward. You guys have to sell the sizzle. I can't say, hey, I'm going to send you some e-alerts. And here's what the worst thing is. If somebody globally opts out on you, what does that tell me? Not that. They probably like them. They may say that, hey, they did a great job. They didn't communicate with them what? What's next? And then you got, this step's very important. You need to get their permission for you to continue marketing to them. And guess what? Email's free. It's the easiest way for you to communicate with them going forward. So I must have a conversation with them that says, hey, I have this amazing thing we talked about a little earlier. It's called VIP Concierge Program. It allows me to get you the absolute best deals and with vendors. And also what it includes is it keeps you up to date what your property's worth. Great, I'm going to set you up on this system that we have. It's going to keep you updated every 2 weeks on what the property values are. And you'll see new properties listed, also new properties sold. Whatever you do, Ryan, do not unsubscribe from that. Does that sound good? Now what's that doing? Guess whose name's in their email box every 2 weeks? Not just the values, but I'm getting impressions in their brain of who? The real estate resource for life, aka the person you're going to send referrals to, and come back to for any repeat purchases. That's why the sizzle part right here is so important. They have to understand what the value is in getting those emails from you. But it takes what? A physical phone conversation. I have to sell the sizzle. I cannot get lazy right here because they'll opt out. We had 4 or 5 last week that opted out globally. Couldn't even send the alert. Infuriating. Why? Because I know that costs $180,000 times 5 right there. And the most valuable thing I can send them, I can't even send them because that agent didn't take 5 seconds to make a phone call. Right? You guys just got moved in yesterday, whatever. Is there anything I can do? Anything you need help with? You guys need any painters, contractors, electrician, yard guy? Oh yeah, by the way, Ryan, remember we talked about we have that VIP Concierge Club where I can be a real estate resource for life? I got you. I'll make sure you're well taken care of for anything you guys need. And by the way, I'm going to set you up where you get automatic home values for your property every 2 weeks the whole time you own it. Does that sound good? Right? No cost, no obligation. I'm going to include you in that program if that's okay. Already built out. I have to check this box though because why? I have to open the gate of their mind for me to be able to do what? To market to them. And I'll handle a lot of that stuff automatically for you through the technology and the emails that we send. I spend over $1,000 a month just for the company we usually send those emails out to. Because they edit it, they put it together, they transcribe it, put it on the blog. They have a system, service they use that gets deliverable. It's more deliverable to a lot of email boxes. That make sense? But make sure you sell the sizzle. Like just say the same thing. Hey, look, have an unfair advantage home buying system where I can get you property updates on the hottest new listings to hit market, right? Allowing you guys to be other buyers the best deals. Or I can say, hey, I can send some emails with some homes in them, right? You got to sell the sizzle. Are you with me on this? What's the sizzle mean? Anybody know what that means? It's a tactic used where they put a steak on a hot plate with some butter in it, and they walk through the restaurant. What do they hear? The sizzling. You sit down, it's sizzling. You can't touch it. You want it, right? Somebody beside you gets it. You want it. You hear it. You smell it. You see it. That's the same thing you want to do here with this is you got to sell the sizzle. And so you got to make sure that you're really, really big on this, which is super important. Third piece of this is very, very important. It's connected to this. I have to tell them what's next. What does that mean? What's next? What's that mean?
Reframing them, telling them, getting them prepared for
Yep.
the next step.
Which is what? Yeah, hey, look, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to send you emails every 2 weeks updating you on valuable information in your neighborhood, which is what properties have been listed, what properties have been sold, which ones are under contract, so that you guys are always going to know what's going on with one of your largest assets. Does that sound pretty good? In addition to that, we're going to send you a monthly email that just gives you an overall market update. Whatever you do not unsubscribe from that. Does that make sense? Very, very, very important. You got to be able to do that. And you're going to say, hey, also, I'm going to call and check with you guys every quarter because I care about you. I care about you guys in your house, and I care about anything that you need. I'm always here for you because why? I want to be your real estate resource for life. I'm not here to sell you a house or a condo. I'm here to be your real estate resource for life. You have to coach them over and over and over and over because it takes 10, 20, 30 impressions for them to do what? Finally get it and start sending you referrals. Oh, by the way, right? I'm never too busy in referrals. Anybody you come across that's looking to buy or sell, make sure you send them to me. Here's the crazy thing. I've had people who sent somebody to somebody else. I found out about it, talked to them, guess what they said? Well, I didn't think you really want to mess with them. I thought you only did big stuff.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Right, I know you covered that area all times.
Yeah, I didn't think you covered that area. So what do you say? And you go deeper and say, hey, I don't care what they're buying, who they're buying. If you think they can't buy a tennis shoe, send them to me. I'll make sure they get well taken care of. Make sure you pre-frame them on what? I don't care what it is, who it is, you send them to me. And I'm going to send you a $50 gift card, take your wife out to dinner as soon as you send that referral to me. And what you want to do is you got to reward the referral, though. You can't reward when they buy. That make sense? Because I want to reward the habit, which is sending me a referral, which is very, very important. We go deeper on that in that scenario, in that piece of it. I kind of covered that already. But the fourth piece here, you got to include you in that, which is, oh yeah, by the way, I want to be a real estate resource for life. I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. Please send to anybody that you come across mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, random guy or girl at the store, if they smell like real estate, I want you to send them to me. I want to be as exaggerative as possible in my description so they laugh about it, and guess what it does? It triggers in their mind the next time they hear anything real estate. You get a waitress or a waiter that mentions they're going to buy real estate, or they smell like they've been looking at real estate, what I need you to do for me is send them to me ASAP. Get their name and number, just call them and give it to me. You want them to be an advocate for you. Over and over and over before, right? The guy who was the number one deal at the Hummer dealership, all he do is follow back up. Questions about this? Fourth piece. I try to make it all piece here. You can see, you must be what? Persistent. What does that mean?
Even if they don't answer, keep calling, texting.
Yeah, the first one I kind of made the same thing, but I wanted to make sure the word I really liked here, it's got to be consistent. I like the word really, it needs to be relentless. You do not call them every quarter. Ideally every month if possible. If it's worth $500 an hour, if I have a call that's 10 minutes, guess what? It's worth it. Because I'm able to make sure that I can get leverage on this. But here's the thing, I can't call them once or twice and stop. Why? Because I have a 7-year gap I got to make up. And I got to get a 20-year extraction of all the referrals. We've on this, and hell, you can even tell them here in your pre-frame, hey look, Ryan, my goal for you, I want to be a real estate resource for life, and all I ask for you is I'll work my butt off, I'll get you any discount, any vendor you need, I'll make sure you get the best deal. I just need you to do me one thing. Send me one referral a year. That's all I need. Just tell them what you got to tell them. And looking back at all these pieces, how much are we missing? A lot. It's all psychology, and it's all fundamentals. That's very, very simple. But that's what leads to an $18 million database for you, each person. And there's people across the country that do this. But you've got to have that personal relationship with them in that scenario. Second piece of this, it must be everyone. What does that mean? Every single past client you have. Not which ones, Baron? And you told me this?
The ones you like and the ones you don't like.
There's a natural tendency for us to call the ones we like, or the ones that we got along with the most. And here's the deal. They may not be the most connected ones. They may not be the one that's going to be your biggest advocate. The hardest ones to crack, the ones that are really sometimes the hardest to get to that nut to crack, guess what? They're the most loyal, hardcore ones that will send you more referrals than anybody else. And you never know who's going to be you never know who's going to be the champion. Right? Like when I used to do MLM, multiple marketing back then, I did Amway, which is like Quickstar. And all you do is you sponsor all these people. And guess what? The ones you thought was going to be a rock star, they fizzled out. The quiet guy or girl that you didn't think was going to do anything, guess what they did? Blew up. You never knew. Right? And so ultimately, you got to call everyone in that scenario. Meaning that all my past clients, and even if it's uncomfortable. And guess what? Even if I haven't even called them in 2 years or 1 year. You've got to make it purposeful to call all of them. That makes sense, you guys? Very, very important, that piece. Third piece of this, which is also connected, it must be systematic. We're really missing this a lot. What does that mean?
Creating to-dos and following.
The CRM is built out, hundreds of thousands of dollars in there, that's got options for you to do things and know every detail about your client, all the hug fields, and guess what you can do? You can set a recurring task that recurs every 3 months that tells you to do what? Call them. You cannot remember this. It's not possible. You have to create a system. When you close a deal out, it automatically generates a task for you to do what? If you notice that, it generates a task for you guys to set up your follow-ups with them. And it even gives you the script, I think, to do what? To enroll them into our Lifetime Connection program. And it even tells you to use a script. That script might be even the task, I can't remember. But you guys got to do what? It's going to be very systematic. Every past client in our system that we use, starts with a B, needs to have them closed out as closed client, needs to be tagged as what? Past client. And you also need to have what? Recurring to-do set up. So it pops up, you just call them no matter what. You've got to make a commitment to do this because it's worth literally $75,000 a month. If you get to that point. Only 100. We're in a race here for 100 clients and send you one referral a year. And you're free. I'd much rather go take client out dinner, my top clients out dinner once a month and get a bunch of referrals from, than sit here and make dials all day. Much more efficient. You with me on this? Very, very important. And the last piece here, it's got to be automatic. Systematic means it's basically set up. Automatic means what? I just show up and make the dial based on what my dashboard tells me. I don't got to think about it. I don't have to remember it. I don't need to block out a random Tuesday afternoon to call all my past clients. What most people do, they try to fight the system, and they say, well, I'm just going to block out Tuesday night, call all my clients. The problem is you don't do that next month, or the month after that, month after that. You've got to be very, very, very purposeful and intentional about how you do that. Does that make sense to you guys there? Very, very important piece in that my goal is I'm at a 1-to-1 ratio. Every year, no matter what, forever. Long time in the business. Would that make your life a lot easier? Can you buy the dream house you wanted? Yeah. Absolutely, right? Multiple ones. I mean, that's 100%. That's when the problem becomes having too much money. If it's done correctly.